Using the perpetual engine received from King Argus, Sid outfitted the Enterprise into a new airship. Taking to the sky on their upgraded vessel, the Light Warriors ventured beyond the floating continent. In the endless sea, they discovered a shipwreck, and learned that the entire world had been sunken under the ocean, its people turned to stone. With the help of a temple maiden named Elia, they bypassed the magical barrier inside the water cave, and used the water crystal to return the world's land to the surface as the adventure continues.
You're awake? You've been asleep for 3 days. Ugh, where are we? This is Amur, the town of water. Grandpa found you lying unconscious in the Temple of Water. 3 whole days. Ugh, we've wasted so much time. Hello? What? Ellie, I see. How tragic. Please, for Elia's sake too, bring the light back to this world. We're counting on you. Yeah, he repeats that. So we are now in the town of Amur, but we have new jobs, yay! A lot of new jobs. We have the Geomancer, a magic user who conjures the powers of the very earth beneath his feet. Instead of using conventional white and black magic. The Dragoon, a lance-wielding fighter who can leap up into the air and dive down for massive damage. The Viking, an alternative to the Knight. He cannot protect allies, and does not have as proficient of weapons when it comes to dealing damage, but in exchange, he has high vitality, developing lots of hit points. The Karateka, an upgraded monk. Enough said. The Mystic Knight, a fighter capable of low-level white magic. Similar to the Hunter, except instead of being an archer, he is a sword wielder. That we can't do anything yet, because he has very specific equipment that he uses that we do not have access to yet. Conjurer, a magical summoner who can call forth powerful beasts to do his bidding. And the Bard, a fighter who can attack using music and bolster the party while weakening the enemies. We're not going to mess with these quite yet, though. I do more or less know what jobs I want to use, not necessarily for certain specific points of the game, but whenever I play a game like this, I always do so already knowing what I want to do in the long run with my team. You seem to be alright, that's good. You've helped a lot, thank you. You're welcome. That's actually the kind of thing that usually motivates me to want to play a game like this, is not so much specifically being in the mood to play this game specifically, but because I feel like I get to a point where I'm in the mood to to try a specific build, and that's what motivates me to want to dive in. I feel like I've been dreaming for a long time, because these people were turned to stone and trapped underwater for however long, being preserved as statues so they wouldn't drown. A guy called Goldor put a chain on your ship. What? Also, that's a lady, I wasn't even looking. 4 warriors came from the Dark World and stopped the flood of light from the crystals. Goldor, thinking you were those 4 warriors, put a chain on your ship so you won't get his crystal. Interesting. At least you have a motivation for him doing what he did. Everything in Goldor's mansion is made of gold. He put locks everywhere so no one can steal it. Great. Goldor's mansion is south of Amur, but you have to cross the bottomless swamp. If you fall in, you'll die. Wearing floating shoes, you can cross the bottomless swamp. Okay, didn't that old lady Delilah who lives in the sewers have them? Goldor is terribly strong against magic. He has perfect magic defense. Okay, so we've learned that Goldor has a crystal, and because of the legend of the Dark Warriors, he assumes we are here to steal his crystal, so he put a chain on our ship to keep us from basically doing anything. And we also know that he lives on the other side of the bottomless swamp, which we need the floating shoes to cross, and supposedly Delilah, who lives in this town's sewer, has the floating shoes. The crystal? A guy named Goldar who lives to the south has one. The sewers are locked up because of the monsters that have been coming out. Old Jiru has the key. So basically, we know that we need to go to Goldor, but to do that, we need the floating shoes from Delilah to cross the bottomless swamp. Then we can confront Goldor about his crystal. There's a legend that 4 warriors will crush the overflowing of light and dark. Hello. Aye! Who are those old guys? Those old men, they think that they're the legendary heroes. Okay. I mean, they're free to think what they want. They're wrong, for we are the legendary heroes, because we are the main characters. Hello. Been to the Amber Pub? It's full of news. Yes, I already did that. Please get out of the way. I'm searching the tall grass for stuff. That guy just exists to thwart my every effort. What do you want? We want to go into the sewers so we can get the floating shoes. Into the sewers? They're closed because of all the monsters. It's dangerous. But we have to find the last of the crystals. What? You're the legendary 4 warriors. Yes, we are. Oh no! The old men are spying on us. They're eavesdropping through the wall. What? The 4 warriors? That's who we are. Seems like they're going into the sewers. Well then, we'll get there first. Wahahahahaha. The old men are plotting against us. Come along now, follow me. Alright, I'll open the lock. The sewers lie ahead. Be careful. So we now have permission to enter the sewers and to try to meet with Delilah. But first, we have a little bit more to do in the town. Carrot, 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 carrot. Dark suit. Thief hat, glove, dark hood. Hello, shop. What do you have for us? Nothing. Okay, so we have some decisions to make because one thing we learned is that Goldor has perfect magic defense. So magic won't be particularly useful against him. That being said, we can change up our jobs a bit if we want. I'm actually going to keep Azure the same so we have some white magic. Also, you're gonna upgrade from the monk. So let's unequip that stuff. And you... It's cheaper to become the Viking. And both the Viking and the Karateka have the same vitality. I'm actually going to become the Viking for this because it's not going to be permanent anyway. I'm not going to be sticking with this. I'm going to be switching to a completely different job later. Again, I already know what jobs I want in the long run, so this is just... Until I can get the proper equipment and everything, I'm going to become a Viking. Just to be stronger and also just to get more of that sweet vitality. Black magic isn't going to be particularly useful, at least for the boss. I think you can use it against the normal enemies. But we also would need a thief for the coming dungeon because blah 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 blah. There's locked doors. As we learned, everything's locked up. We also got all this fancy stuff for him. And that'll also raise his vitality a little bit for the time being. So for the time, we're going with this. And now let's buy some gear for these jobs. Viking, Viking, Viking helm, Viking armor, 2 of those, and 2 of those. Get his attack up, and his attack up. Put you in the front row. And I'm doing this now because, yeah, we have to go into the sewers, but that's a short dungeon. And this way, maybe I can get a little bit more skill with these jobs as well. Alright, with that, let's head into the sewers. Sewer. Oh, we're immediately attacked and from behind by weird spider things and more frogs. Or toads, whatever. Everybody get into position. As you see, the thief can steal stuff, which sucks. And it also has escape, which is just an upgraded version of running away. Now here's the thing with the thief stealing. Is it's not good, and it's not good for two reasons. Number one, you can't really steal anything useful. It's mostly just potions and battle items that you're probably not going to be using, or like weak potions where you'd be better off just doing damage most of the time than worrying about getting a potion. And the probability of successfully stealing is stupidly low. It's based on your level and your job level, but the percentage is so low that it's impractical. You're going to be missing so much more often with your stealing than you're going to be succeeding. And honestly, I feel like the problem isn't either of those individually, but the combination of them. It would be fine if the stuff you got from stealing wasn't particularly useful, just basic potions, maybe a little money here and there, and occasionally something like a Zeus's Rage or a North Wind. Just real garbage items like that. But you had a high probability of success. Then it would be fine. It would also be fine if... Hang on, we have stuff to do. Hey, help us! Hey, it's those old guys we just saw. Let's help them. Or it would also be fine if you had a really low probability of successfully stealing stuff, but the items you got were really good, like elixirs, or Phoenix Downs, or strong gear, maybe weapons and armors that are either exceedingly rare, or are things that you can't purchase yet, stuff that you normally wouldn't find until a town or two later. Maybe even some gear that allows you to get earlier access to certain job classes that you otherwise wouldn't be able to effectively utilize until much later, like the aforementioned Mystic Knight. You have to get near the end of the game before you can finally buy equipment for them. And if it was just one of those things, then stealing would be worthwhile. The problem is that it's both of those things. The items you get from stealing are generally useless or not particularly useful, and on top of that, the odds of successfully stealing are just so astronomically low that it's not worth it. We're sorry, thanks for helping us out of that predicament. Did you really think we were the 4 legendary heroes? No way! Ho 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 ho. I'm no match for you youngsters after all. Huh? I'll just stay here. Thanks! Okay, so, we need to train more. You're really the legendary heroes? But I thought that was us. Okay, so we saved the old guys, and so because of that we made amends. Anyway, so that's the problem with stealing, is that it's both of those things. If it was just one or the other, I would be fine with the steal command, because you're taking either a high risk of it failing but getting something worthwhile, or you're just using it to get guaranteed little things, little rewards, particularly in a situation where you may not need to worry about attacking, so you might as well get an extra potion in your inventory. But the fact that it's both incredibly inaccurate and the rewards you get are such trivial things. Main gauge, Thor hammer, and it's that combination of those two things that makes the steal command just not worthwhile. Heck, the last time I was playing this game, I was actually using a thief, and I was stealing a lot, but I wasn't stealing to get rewards. I was stealing because it gets you more skill points than attacking. So it was allowing me to get more skill levels, and that's something I only knew from looking it up. That's not something you would likely just know from playing the game on your own time. Unless you're really experimenting with that stuff. Just ridiculously extensively. The thief is still useful though, but more so for the fact that he can run away effectively if you really need to run away. And also his ability to open locked doors, which I forgot was coming up. Skill up, level up. If I had remembered that Goldor's mansion had locked doors, which I did know, it just had slipped my mind in the moment. But if that hadn't slipped my mind, I would have purchased some more keys before coming to this point. I could drop that bomb arm, I'm never gonna use that. Switch to Viking real quick. And equip the Thor hammer. I don't think I have room for you to unequip stuff. I would need 2 slots. Drop the Echo Herbs. I feel like I'm not going to be needing those as much going forward. Same with the antidotes. And I can always just buy more of those later if I really need to. Now you switch to the Karateka real quick. Headband. Kenpo, just to get you something. And I think you'll actually be weaker with only 1 weapon, yeah. Alright, let's press onward. Let's have this guy lead for a second, because we won't really get much opportunities to see this overworld sprite. Ah, more treasures. I just filled up all my inventory space. Oh no! Chop, chop, chop! Quick! Before Azure can turn on us, we must defeat these things! The Stow Ropers! We just fought Ropers and already we're fighting upgraded ones. Once again, my team shows their loyalty to each other by not attacking each other but only knocking themselves from confusion. Skill up! Orialcon and Power Bracelets. The only problem with that is now I don't have room to unequip my stuff. Power Bracelets. I might be able to make room, though, if I do that. Yeah. And, give you a couple potions, and then let's press onward. Ugh! More creatures stand in our way, and they ambushed us. Ugh! Get beat up. But we can handle it. Just all-out offense is this team at the moment. In a way, Gatai being ahead with experience points is a good thing, because him leveling up warns me that everybody else is also about to level up, and his job already has fairly solid vitality. Not the best, but it's not bad either. The Viking and the Karateka have the highest vitality of any jobs. Hello? What do you want? We were just wondering if you could lend us the floating shoes. You kids, the 4 legendary heroes? Unbelievable. Well, here are the floating shoes. Catch! Oh, the old men return! As they wait in the door and move one at a time because the game couldn't manage to make multiple people move together. Stand back! What? Those shoes are fakes. How do you know? Why, it's my 6th sense. Just kidding, I've seen the shoes before. Hey, Delilah, these kids are the real heroes. Oh, I had no idea. I'm terribly sorry. Delilah, won't you lend them the shoes? Well, since you ask, here, take these. Victory! Receive floating shoes. Yeah, now we can cross bottomless swamp. Thanks, old guys. You guys make great heroes. Ho ho ho, we're not that great. Well, let's get out of here. Hold on to me, kids. I'll use exits to take us out. And then they do their little magic dance. Now we are back in Amur. And the old guys are just hanging out now. No, that what I just used wasn't actually exit, it was an otter head. Okay. Weird item, but sure. Something in your eyes. Maybe you really can do it. We're heroes too! Hello. You may be stronger, but we're better with women. Yeah, good for you. Somehow I doubt that. Or at least have to question it. Please get out of the way. So we've gotten the floating shoes, meaning we can head to Goldor's mansion, past the bottomless swamp. But first, let's step outside and get that quick level up we're just hanging on. Actually, while doing that, there's something I want to test. So I'm gonna go up here. Not that way, this way. Wait. Yeah, this way. Level up! Level up! Level up! Alright, now let's get back our jobs. Gouge or Gauge or whatever. And the Orialcon dagger. Dark Hood for extra strength. Dark Suit for extra agility. Thief Glove for also extra strength. Rune Bow. Ice Arrows because I have the most of those right now. Ice Helmet. Flame Mail. And he can actually equip the Power Bracelet for 5 extra strength and more defense. And you're where I want right now, only we're gonna swap out the Morning Star for the Thor Hammer, which is weaker, so never mind. This special weapon that you find in the dungeon is weaker than the crap you can buy. Now let's head back to town, heal up, and then head to Goldor's mansion. Okay, game. Also gonna sell some stuff. Thor Hammer. And I don't need these. Or that. Also buy some high potions.